Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ring Rumble podcast. My name is V, and today I'm by myself doing this part. So let's just get right into it because honestly, sorry if you hear me sniffling, I'm kind of like sick. But oh man, this crown jewel was not good. I mean, typically not a lot of people really like the crown jewel, so it's like really to no surprise. But yeah, definitely not a good pay-per-view. But the matches themselves were good. Like, don't get me wrong, but the finishes, man, like tragic. So, all right. So the first match was the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu, accompanied by Tonga Loa on ringside versus Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, 6-man tag match. Tama Tonga begins the fight with Jey Uso first, which I thought it would be better storytelling if Jimmy were to face Tama Tonga, considering that when Jimmy was kicked out of the Bloodline and attacked, it was by Tama Tonga who was initiated into the Bloodline. So, thought that would have been better, but it's kind of a little detail. Solo ends up lecturing the Bloodline to get their head in the game, which I thought it was kind of funny that Tonga Loa was huddled up with them, as if he was in the match, but he kind of wasn't. We want Roman chants from the crowd, and Jey refused to tag Roman when Roman wanted him to, asserting that they're equals. The Bloodline is struggling a lot, but once Jacob Fatu was tagged in, he immediately dominated Jey with a Samoan drop. Jacob started taunting Roman and Jimmy, and Tama Tonga starts barking really weirdly. Roman finally gets tagged and faces Solo first, and of course Roman is winning this matchup like he usually does against Solo. Solo Samoan spiked Roman, and Roman barely kicked out, which is kind of crazy because he did it pretty early into this match. Jacob equalizes and faces Jey. Jey suicide dives onto Jacob, who catches him and headbutts him immediately. Roman threw Tama Tonga onto the ref by accident, and Jacob destroys everyone around him. Solo Samoan spikes Roman 2 times, I believe, and ends up actually pinning Roman, and actually ends up winning this match, which was not to my prediction. I honestly thought that the Roman Reigns, Jimmy, and Jey would win, but the further on the match kind of carried into itself, like, I started realizing, like, yeah, I was dead wrong because Roman and Jey and Jimmy are kind of like a makeshift team. Like, it was just mostly out of convenience. They're not really, like, on the same page, especially, with Jey not tagging in Roman when he should have, probably. So it makes sense that they couldn't beat the Bloodline. And it would also make the Bloodline look incredibly weak if they ended up winning that match. Or ended up losing that match, sorry. Well, anyways, after the win, Roman ends up trying to grab Solo, and all of the Bloodline end up jumping him. Jimmy and Jey were unable to help, and there's only 3 of them, so they needed an extra guy to help out. Crowd was chanting Sami, and unfortunately, Sami Zayn came out to save them all, especially Jey. But Sami looks at Solo kind of strangely, and Solo gestures him to go and join the Bloodline. Sami looks back at Jey, but Sami ends up attacking Solo and attempts to help the rest of, Roman and Jey and all this stuff. And Solo is left all alone with Jey, Jimmy, Sami, and Roman. Sami accidentally haluva kicked, I guess, or just kicked Roman. And Jimmy yells at Sami for doing that, and Jey tries to stop them from fighting. Which, honestly, I'm going to be completely honest. I mean, I know my hatred for Sami Zayn is pretty much well known. I honestly think that he would have had a better shot joining the dark side, I guess. I think it would just make things more interesting. But it also doesn't make sense for him to do that because he kind of is already well established in, like, not being brainwashed by other people, I guess you would say. But the person who did the brainwashing was Roman, so it's kind of bizarre for him to help. But, Jey's in that team, so it makes sense. After this match, Gunther was being interviewed about his match with Cody later in the day. He says he's not only going against Cody, but it also comes with, the WWE Universe who love them because he's like the golden boy. But last time he was in Saudi, he beat Randy Orton, and this time he will beat Cody and admits to winning this match with a sleeper hold. So, interesting. And Cody, after that, was being interviewed about the match. Cody says that no one looks better than Gunther. However, he faced him in the Rumble, which I'm like, there was other people there, but okay. And he believes that Gunther is overconfident. He replies to Gunther calling him a secondary champion, claiming it's a line to get under his skin, and it doesn't work. If he loses to Gunther, Cody says that he believes that people will want to take his title at Mania, as a result. And he kind of said something that the undisputed title would be not as important, which is ridiculous because that literally is not, like, the title doesn't mean anything. The crown jewel title, like, sorry to break it to you guys, it does not mean anything. It cannot be carried in, like, just normal shows. It's exclusive to this pay-per-view, which is only happens once a year. So crazy that you have to defend a title that has been collecting dust for a whole year. Anyways, second match was Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus Piper Niven and Chelsea Green versus Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend versus Damage Control, Io Sky, and Kairi Sane. This was a fatal four-way match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Bianca was fighting most of the start of this match. Much of the other women can't do anything until the Metaphor Girls, which is Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend, went into the matchup. Lash Legend faced off with Jade Cargill, which was pretty interesting, and Kairi speared Jakara. Damage Control botched. Honestly, even though Damage Control was my pick for this match, they were not doing that great. And Damage Control in particular was botching, I guess, and this botch was the worst one, which Io was supposed to be lifted to Jakara onto the top rope, but Kairi's not strong enough, so she really did not gain any height. Io didn't, and it was not good, and Lash kicked Bianca and Jade, and okay, sorry. Well, it was short-lived, that botch. Like, it just, they immediately carried on when Lash kicked Bianca and Jade replied with the stare down, and they started chopping each other pretty damn hard. Piper Niven ends up crossbodying Lash and Jade. Chelsea tries to moonsault, but she was scared to flip backwards, so she splashed instead and got caught by Piper Niven, her teammate, and started kissing her head in appreciation. Io was moonsaulted onto the girls at ringside, and also Kairi did her insane elbow to them at ringside. Jakara also jumped off of Lash's shoulders to the girls at ringside. Chelsea is alone with Jade, who gives her Jaded, which I was really glad to see, because a reason why I don't really like this team up with Bianca and Jade, or at least as long as it's been going, is that Jade hasn't been doing Jaded, but for some reason, like, Bianca still does the KOD. Kind of, like, is weird. And, Io Sky and Kairi break the count after that. Io botched a bridging suplex. Like I said, they were botching a little bit. Io pumped up Kairi for an elbow, which was successful. Lash Legend picked up Kairi like it was nothing, as she's pretty small. And they did a powerbomb combo, her and Jakara Jackson. It was very nice. And Piper also did a very incredible move following that onto Lash Legend, and it looked like Lash almost landed on her head. And Piper accidentally slams onto Chelsea when she was distracted, and Bianca and Jade complete their finisher to win the match, retaining the tag team titles. I'm a little disappointed that they retained, because I'm kind of like, they're a good team, but don't get me wrong, but I also felt like the damage control should have gotten it, but then after, like, kind of how the match went, I was kind of like, it makes more sense, I guess, for them to retain. So, this match was good. As for the Bloodline one, I would give it like a 3. It was kind of whatever. Like, it was good. It was also very slow, but that kind of is very typical of, like, Roman Reigns kind of matches. He stares a lot. And for this one, honestly, this was really good. I would give it like a 4.2 maybe. There was a lot going on, because there was a lot of people. Next match was Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. Oh, also no, I said it already. Okay, sorry. Seth Rollins versus Bronson Reed. While Bronson was making his entrance, Seth Rollins ran up to attack him immediately, which was smart, because, you have to break Bronson down. Quickly, Bronson was getting the upper hand. Seth suicide dived onto Bronson. Bronson threw Seth onto the announcer's chair and rammed him into the stairs. This was all before the bell rang. Finally, the bell rang. Bronson gave a tsunami already. Like, he landed it, but he missed. He came up for a second time. He could have, like, just pinned there, but he went up a second time and ended up missing as Seth rolled away. And Reed got curb stomped immediately, but he kicked out. Reed ended up sitting on Seth, a Bastion Booger kind of sit, except, less crotchy. And Seth tried to lift Bronson, but fell back. Oh, okay. Bronson was so heavy that Seth ended up, when he was lifting him, he ended up falling back, and Bronson ended up splashing on him instead, or landing on him. Seth countered Bronson into a DDT, which was interesting. Seth Bronson, which is actually a really nice one, honestly. And beautiful sit-down powerbomb by Bronson, superplex by Bronson. Seth slaps Bronson, and Bronson replies with a really nasty clothesline. Rollins keeps rolling away to prevent the tsunami. Bronson was stomped on the stairs. Bronson coming back in, stomped again. Seth went into the ropes to do a super stomp and wins the match. Bronson stands up, staring at Seth. Seth looks concerned and confused again, and Bronson signals Seth to come back. Seth says that if Bronson comes back, he will beat him up again. Yet again, I was wrong. I thought Bronson Reed would win this one, but Seth Rollins won. And honestly, at first I was kind of like, oh, that's lame. Like, they should have give him the win. But honestly, thinking about like that finish with the, was it two curb stomps and then a super stomp kind of thing, it took a lot for Seth to beat him. So that kind of really shows Bronson's power. So yes. All right. Oh man, this match was. I'm gonna say this like ahead of time. These matches, the championship matches for the what's it called? The Crown Jewel Championship. Both of them were not very good, I must say. All right. Well, the first one is Women's World Champion Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax for the WWE Women's Champion Nia Jax for the Crown Jewel Championship. Liv is obviously scared of Nia. Liv focuses on injuring Nia's leg to give herself an advantage. Liv gave a DDT to Nia, but Nia responded with a very beautiful Samoan drop, honestly, and Nia Samoa dropped her again, Liv again, from the second rope. This match looks like child abuse, I put, because Liv is so small. And Liv gave a sunset flip powerbomb. Tiffany came in, ready to cash in, but Nia looks upset, telling her to get out of here. Tiffany starts walking back, but she's still also watching from afar. Thinking about it, she runs back to the ring. But this is where the lame part comes in. Raquel Rodriguez grabbing the briefcase from Tiffany. Dominic out there as well. Liv lands the code breaker. Raquel tells them, that was a typo. Tiffany tells Raquel and Dominic, who are like surrounding her, that she isn't cashing in on Liv. Nia kind of hears it and seems like she's upset, but she slams into Liv, Raquel, and Tiffany at the same time at ringside. Dom throws the briefcase in when Nia was going to do her finisher. Raquel ruins Nia's chance as she was up on the top rope, and Liv does Oblivion and actually wins the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. I was not expecting that at all. I was wrong yet again. I was wrong for a majority of these, which is crazy. Nia Jax did not win. Liv Morgan won, and no cash-in by Tiffany, which was pretty disappointing. Definitely not a very satisfying win. So, yeah, moving on, honestly. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. Kevin adorning a Bob Orton shirt. Crowd singing Randy's song very loudly. Oh, I'm going to also add here. Okay, the Crown Jewels, like I said, been typically not very highly appreciated or liked by, I guess, international fans or States fans, because the crowd was really lame. They were not very fun in the past, and honestly, I feel like I don't know who told them, but okay, so they want to go to WrestleMania. They want a WrestleMania here, or not here, but in Saudi, and a lot of people obviously don't want that. And I don't really want that personally, because I thought the crowd was really lame, right? But then after watching this pay-per-view, I feel like all of a sudden they had to start acting like France or something like that, because there was just like there was like a lot of excitement, a lot of chants and all that stuff, and it was just kind of out of nowhere. So I felt like they kind of told the crowd to be very energetic so they can get the WrestleMania. I still don't like the idea. I felt like it was just a complete 180 from the past Crown Jewels, in my opinion. But anyways, Owens attacks Randy with a chair behind his back. Randy's knees is messed up, and Kevin works on the injured knee. Ref took away the chair from Kevin, who replied with the stunner. The bell hasn't even rung yet. It doesn't ring at all, actually. Randy dropped Kevin onto the announce desk, and some random fella took away a chair from Randy. Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce came in. Adam Pearce got an RKO, which is pretty deserved. He's not a good GM, in my opinion. And they keep fighting past Nick Aldis because they know better than to attack Nick. Let's be real. The aura from Nick is repelling the conflict away. The fight carries on throughout the arena. Kevin hit Randy onto a table and went to a higher level of the, I guess, like stairs in the crowd, and ended up elbow dropped onto Randy. And for some reason, there was a commercial, and which initially had me confused, but then I realized that the bell didn't ring, so there was no match and no winner, which was, am I technically wrong? Because I said that Kevin Owens was going to win this one, but I mean, if you think about it, Kevin Owens was the one who took the final blow, so, yeah, I don't know if I'm right or not, so, yeah, it was a pretty disappointing ending, but, it's a big match, so, whatever. Now, next is the Andrade versus Carmello Hayes versus LA Knight for the United States Championship triple threat. Andrade and Mello immediately fight one another while Knight watches. Knight gets kicked and driven out by both men. All men when they're in the ring. Knight DDTs Mello, and Mello and Andrade do an inverted Spanish fly. Andrade moonsaults onto Knight. Does the double moonsault. Oh, no. Okay. He does the moonsault from the post onto Knight by ringside, which is very, it was crazy. I don't know how he does it. Mello dominates both men when they come in, pinning them both, but they both kick out. Andrade gave a Canadian Destroyer to Mello. Andrade also did the double moonsault to LA Knight in this. And Andrade did a cool backflip whilst carrying Mello. Double elbow drop by Knight, and very terrible botch, I must say. LA Knight is kind of botches a little bit. I mean, he does this very difficult move where he basically jumps from... Well, if I remember correctly, I think he jumps from the mat to the top rope, but I don't know. But he messes it up. He messes it up a lot. That move. I mean, it's very hard, but he messed up, basically doing almost the same thing. While Andrade and Mello were at the top rope, he ended up kind of landing the nads on the top rope. He looked like he was getting I don't even know what, like, oh my god, I hope no one can hear the factory noise in the back. I don't know what you would say, like, he basically hurt his nuts. That's all I'm gonna say. And but he had to carry on, and Mello gave his leg drop move, but Andrade breaks the count. Mello on Andrade. So Mello was doing or intending to do the face buster, or I think it was Andrade, and before they can execute it while he was rotating, Knight ended up grabbing them and did the BFT. That's how he won and retained the title. This one I was actually correct for. I said LA Knight was going to win, which honestly, as an LA native, I'm disappointed that I got this one right out of everything, because I do like Andrade and Carmello Hayes a lot. So, but I kind of figured as much. That this would happen because, LA Knight really hasn't had the greatest run right now. I think he really only has focused on these two in the entirety of his run so far. So, obviously he needs to move on to something else, and definitely losing the title would just be very confusing right now. So, that's what happened. All right, the final match. Boy, this was disappointing. World Heavyweight Champion Gunther versus the Undisputed Champion Cody Rhodes for the Crown Jewel Championship. Crowd was very loud. Straight up copying the French, I said. A crowd also chanted Walter, which was very crazy. Big jump by Gunther. I never seen him jump so high. Cody has a hard time knocking down Gunther because Gunther is very big. And Cody keeps finding a way to reverse the sleeper throughout the match. Gunther chops and power slams Cody onto ringside. Cody's back gives out, and the crowd started doing the wave. Cody doing this typical babyface stuff as per usual. Cody cutter to Gunther. Gunther ends up getting Cody in the Boston Crab, and Gunther locks the sleeper. Cody tries hard to finally escape the sleeper, and Rhodes gives the crossroads, Gunther giving a power bomb, and Cody at this point has given 2 crossroads. He's ready for a third, but Gunther reverses, and this is where my notes stop because I was so livid at this ending, but I'll sum it up to the best of my ability. Gunther ended up getting the sleeper again. Cody rolled backwards, and he was still held in the sleeper, but Gunther's shoulders were down. 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes wins. This is very, very disappointing. I really thought Gunther was going to win. Neither of these guys need this championship. They don't. Nobody does, honestly. Maybe like some mid-carders, but like for like a champion versus champion kind of thing, neither of them need it. But I felt like between the both of them, Cody Rhodes certainly did not need it. He's already the face of the company, and maybe that's exactly why they gave it to him. I have no idea, but it was lame. And I forgot to rank all the other matches. For the Seth and Bronson one, it was a good match. I would give it like a 3.8 probably. That finish really killed it. For the Nia Jax one, dude, I'm gonna give that a 2. I was just so livid that nothing that I said even happened. And this is not to say that this pay-per-view was lame because I got all my predictions wrong. No. It was like legitimately the finishes were dumb. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens, I mean, can we say 0? I mean, it was a very quick match and it wasn't even a match whatsoever. Andrade versus Carmello Hayes and versus LA Knights. This one was good. I'm gonna give it like a 3.8 to 4, I guess. And as for this Cody Rhodes and Gunther one, it's very typical. It's a very typical match of both of these guys. Very, Gunther kind of just dominating throughout the most of it, and doing his sleeper and stuff, and kind of like chopping the heck out of his opponent. The only issue is Cody Rhodes is the ultimate babyface, so he's definitely gonna not feel any of those. I mean, he'll feel it, but he'll Hulk out at some moment. So it's kind of just something I've already seen, even though you don't see these guys paired up against or put up against each other. Either way, it was very typical of the both of them, and therefore I would probably give this one a 3. I mean, it's just the consistent part of this pay-per-view was that these finishers were just not good. The finishes were just not good. And again, that's not because I got predictions wrong. I'm honestly surprised because once I made that video, a lot of people had basically similar picks. So it's just kind of weird to see like that none of them were really true. But yeah, so that's basically it. Overall, the pay-per-view was just kind of lame. I'm going to put it up there with Clash at the Castle. That one was terrible. I must say that was terrible. But the benefit for this pay-per-view was that there's actually 7 matches. And Clash of the Castle only had 5. But it meant the matches went faster, which is nice. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, eh. Like, they really had to squash that Randy one because, I don't know why. I guess to up the ante with the story between those two. But, yeah. Pretty lame. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I didn't really like it. If you liked it, that's great. But yeah, just that's basically it, you guys. Well, bye.